past the creaky metal gates, through the fog-enveloped graveyard, you find yourself on the rickety old porch of a long-forgotten home. Beyond the threshold sits a man obsessed, a tortured soul, cursed to discover all about the Southern California haunt community and beyond. You have now entered the domain of the Creepcast with Rick Creeper. You're listening to the Creepcast.
What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Hey, good to be here.
It only took us, 2 years to get this episode finally recorded?
Something like that. Yeah, it's been busy times ever since. And this took 2 weeks to book, too. I think I bailed on you.
Well, I think another 2 weeks would be fine because we took 2 years.
Yep.
I mean, granted, the first time was my fault. The second year, I think just life happened.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put the last 2 weeks to blame on you. So
yeah, I own that. I am incredibly busy these days. So
hey, we all have lives. We have big boy jobs. So
but this is episode 30 for you. This is a big one.
This is 30. Yes, I was about to say 31. I'm glad you were paying attention.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I thought I had more episodes. And I was just like, how do I only have 30? But at the same time, it's like, for example, Joe Rogan said, you'll never get to 50 unless, what the hell did he say? You'll never get to 50 unless you start number one.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And he's like in the thousands now. So,
man, thousands. I mean, but that's like at least 60 hours of your time already.
Well, again, we're talking about a man that does it full time. And I'm over here, I struggle with audio. I'm not a genius. I'm not tech savvy. I'm just like a dude that works with his hands. So
yeah, but you got buttons that light up and stuff. So
yeah,
I trust you're a professional.
So we'll see how it goes. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Rick Creeper again with the Creepcast. I'm here with my buddy Matthew Lindblad, aka Milk, veteran hot monster, filmmaker, senior content producer of OCSE, musician, and handsome devil.
Oh my!
That's very kind of you.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we, I think, started chatting online.
Yeah. I think it was MySpace. No, it wasn't that far back.
Jesus. I wonder if is it still active?
It is. Yeah. I think so. Justin Timberlake bought it and was running it as a music platform for a while, like after its heyday.
Okay.
I think he's since sold it off, but I went to pull some old photos off of it like probably 2 months ago. It's still up.
So if I wanted to... if I wanted to log into my old MySpace, I could.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could see it already. It's like artwork of like Danzig and like there was like the little media player. It was probably like Face to Face and like Social D.
Yes.
And there's probably a bunch of like pinup rockabilly girls in the background.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I was a single man at the time. And
Yeah.
I used to work Creepers, and hence the name. And like I could see like some stupid handle, like I don't know. I don't even want to say. Wow. No, yeah, we don't go that far back, but I think the last couple of years it was just through Instagram.
Like Instagram. And then I had seen you at like Santa Ana Haunt, I think, but definitely met you at Pirates Cove with Jacob.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I actually like met you in person, as far as I know.
You had the biggest grin on your face when you entered our area.
Oh, dude.
I remember you had your Ghost Town jersey.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I know that dude. And I was like, I gotta stay in character. But yeah, I think then we just started talking and just became more of acquaintances in person.
Yeah.
We, I think, got to work together one night in 2022.
I think so. So. Was that in Ghost Town?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just saw you backstage. But you used to always, I don't know, for a big dude, you move pretty fast.
Thank you.
I remember I was walking through past the candy shop and you came up to me and you did this noise in my ear. Mm-hmm. And it just creeped me the hell out. And I was like,
I won't do it here because without a mask, it's really embarrassing.
Right,
but
yeah.
It basically sounds like Herbert from Family Guy.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy because you passed me. I'm like, hey, what's up, Candyman? And you just went past me. And I'm like, okay, you probably didn't hear me. And you came up to my ear. I was like, ooh, this is weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, something I take pride in, especially with Candyman, is just the dynamic. Because people look at me in character and think that could be a 70-year-old or it could be a 20-year-old.
Right. They can't throw me off. The lights, we'll go down that rabbit hole. But I loved your character, dude.
Thank you. That's been probably my favorite so far in my, gosh, this would be 15 years doing it.
Jeez.
So, and that one's, I just took so much pride in. Some of the Carnival characters and various things were just a hodgepodge. but Candyman, I went 100 on and just
Okay.
like, dove into, took full ownership in. So I really enjoyed it.
How did you get started in the haunt industry? Was it like just a fondness for Halloween, or the kid doing the home haunt? Like how did you get into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's interesting. I spent some of my childhood in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then Toronto, Canada. And out there they have basements. You know, it's not as common in California, but what I would do for the neighborhood kids is like I would build a haunt in my basement. So I'd put up, you know, sheets of drywall. I'd spray fake blood on it. And this is at like age 12, 13. So like way back. And I think the first initial start was maybe going to Valley Fair. And at the time it was like Valley Scare, I think they call it in Minneapolis.
That's a cool play on words. I like that.
Yeah. And so it kind of started there once I realized that, oh, this is like a big deal, this haunt industry. I just took a liking to it. Once I moved to Toronto, it wasn't as big. We have, Canada's Wonderland and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And so I wasn't as invested while I was in Canada from like age 14 to 17. But when I moved back, a friend of mine was like, hey, you got to check out this thing called Not Scary Farm. And so I remember going my first year as a guest. I was probably 18.
Okay.
And just blown away that like this is an event that goes on for 2 months where you're fully immersed in Halloween. And was just like, how do I get involved? Where do I get involved? And at the time I was playing in a band called New Year's Day, which is kind of a gothy rock band. And the singer, Ash Costello, a friend of mine, was a scare actor there in Ghost Town. She was She was, dude? Shut up, dude. Yep. Ash was a scare actor.
I had no idea.
She was in Ghost Town. She was in Necropolis back in the day.
Well, that makes sense.
I think she started in maybe Malice in Wonderland. So
okay, I had no idea she worked there.
Yeah.
Wild.
And then she was eventually on one of the maps one of the years, which was cool. Like her face was. But I was starting to play in that band, and she said, like, you got to come stand in line and, you know, get a job at Haunt. It's really fun. You get to know hundreds of people, you know, and make some really good friends. And so she really got me involved in the industry once I moved back to California. And
that is wild. I didn't know you're friends with her. It just blows my mind she worked the event. You know what? It makes sense because I've seen her like at Reign of Terror.
Yeah.
I've seen her like other events. I'm like, okay, you know, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm a big fan. Go up there. I'm a weird, big meathead walking up there. I don't want to go down, so I don't bother. But to go back, you said you were 12 years old hanging up drywall.
Yeah.
Okay, I worked in the trades for about 16 to 18 years. As a grown man, I could barely move a sheet of drywall. Yeah. Like I needed to move, like I did like telecommunications, low voltage stuff, and I needed to get to like an electrical outlet or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like stacks of drywall. I couldn't move like a sheet without breaking it. So how's a kid?
Yeah.
Were you like actually installing the drywall or just putting it up in place? Like,
so I've been 6'5" for most of my life.
Right.
Like basically, I think I was 6'5" at like age 13. So, you know, moving those sheets wasn't as hard as it, you know, maybe sounds, but my parents have always been really supportive of any of the arts and crafts and music I've, you know, taken on. So, I think I probably got some help from Dad. My grandpa was a contractor, and
makes sense.
You know, Dad worked in construction, so they knew their way around building a house. And so, yeah, we built many haunts in our basement. And like, honestly, like, bless my parents for supporting that. I'm 12 years old putting up fake blood. So, you know, it just shows a level of love they have. But yeah, it was funny too. My parents, I was born into a really great home. I was adopted at birth. And my parents were always artistic. Dad played music, toured, what have you. And so they said, hey, like, we'll support whatever harmless fun you want to get into, whether it's building a haunt, whether it's playing rock and roll, just, you know, stay out of trouble. Mm-hmm. And they, you know, have had that attitude ever since. And so I think along the way they put up with having, you know, me having checkered hair, bright blue Liberty spikes and all that stuff.
Were you a little punk rock kid?
Dude, punk rock to the core. Yeah. So it was funny. I went from like kind of like gothy punk to then like mega emo kid.
Did you have the bangs?
The whole bit. Oh yeah.
The 2000 bangs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
going to the Warped Tour.
Warped Tour. And I think, to bring back MySpace, I was going by the name Matthew Mayhem at the time.
Matthew Mayhem.
Because we all had one of those dorky
you shouldn't have told me
MySpace
that.
names. So
wow.
Yeah. So thankfully I've outgrown that one. But
that's hilarious. I picture a 12-year-old 6'5" kid like with a tool belt.
Yep.
Like hanging drywall.
Yep. And that's accurate. And then I think too, some of the years it was like, I don't know, basically like those plastic sheets. It's almost like the consistency of like a plastic bag, like a trash bag. Mm-hmm. So I'd do some of that too. It was like a plastic wrap, and throw up a strobe light and invite all the neighbors over.
Just to do like a walkthrough or something.
The like looks that we got asking these adult neighbors, like, "Hey, I know you're 45 with kids that are 9, but come through our haunt." It was just like, what was I thinking? But that's really where it all started. And so I didn't really know much about theme park haunt until I really experienced Not Scary Farm. I don't really have a strong memory of the Valley Scare event, but Knott's, as soon as I entered that gate, I was in love with it. It was like, the fact that I get to play pretend. I call it Halloween summer camp in the fall.
Okay.
It's like you get to see all your old friends, and just the camaraderie that's there is something truly unique to the haunt industry, which, I've been in music, I've been in movies, those industries, but it's really, really, I think next level in haunt, just because the level of passion for the craft that people have is pretty unique to that industry. So
you've always been super nice, optimistic, and just like outgoing. I've never heard you say anything bad about anyone. Always just, like very optimistic.
I appreciate that.
$100 smile, and just, like I said, I was just a random dude. I think I reached out to you on Instagram, and then we're just going back and forth, and then we met in person, and you were always like super supportive of everything I've done. It just, and just how passionate you are about this industry.
Yeah.
And there could be some parts that we might not agree with, but that's not the main focus.
Yeah.
But, you've always been optimistic, and I'll say, I liked, I try to get along with everyone.
Yeah.
But then also I like to surround myself with people who are very, very like-minded.
Yeah.
And you're one of those few.
I appreciate that.
But so as just a kid, you're just doing home haunts, little walkthroughs and yard displays. Between the time you were a kid and your first experience at Knott's, did you do anything else prior to that?
No. So at that point, interesting part of my story, just as a professional, is I was skipping school, getting C's and D's. I wanted nothing to do with education, and so I was mainly skipping class to play rock and roll, write music, teach myself every instrument I could get my hands on. And my first love in music was drums, and so my dad started me on an electric drum set. It was like one of the very early electric drum sets, so kind of a piece of crap, just big chunks of rubber that you hit. And then kind of graduated to a real drum set, but started there. And I think at age 14, I was playing in my first band, and it was crazy. I was playing with these college dudes. They were probably, 20 to 25 at the time, and just fully like gothed out, wearing makeup. And I was just this dorky 14-year-old back there behind the kid, playing drums. And so, yeah, I mean, my love for music started there, and then, I still play. And so it carried on. So I wasn't as much involved in haunt, until probably about 18.
So your first experience, you went at 18, and then the following year, did you apply?
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 years after. So my first year was 2010. And so I started in Labyrinth. I was one of the, for people that have been through Labyrinth, I was one of the monsters that was at the dining room table with no eyes and this weird kind of claw-looking mouth. Basically looked like a giant thumb is the best way to put it. And they put me, I remember too, like I'd seen all these like just awesome custom costumes in Ghost Town and Carnival. And I was like, I'm going to get this sick costume. I didn't know anything about, creating your own characters or anything.
Right.
And so I show up for auditions, get the role, and they give me this like light pink sweater with like, it's like a ribbed sweater. And then basically gray sweatpants. And that was my costume. And then this mask that looks like a thumb. And so,
that's a tall
dude, it was hilarious. Like jumping into the industry that way and just totally humbling. You're like, all right, I look like an absolute idiot. But within the first night, I was having the time of my life. And the funny thing about that mask is I actually bought it after the maze closed.
Shut up. Do you bought them? Do you still have it?
I do. So I did. I gifted it to my best friend, Laura, who scares at Canada's Wonderland. And so she moved to Toronto, Canada with it. So it made its way to Canada.
Okay.
But there's a whole backstory about that mask. So I'll try to summarize real quickly. But we kind of co-owned this mask that just became this meme because it was like, so ridiculous looking. And we went out to Salton Sea just past Palm Springs and did a photo shoot in it in kind of this dilapidated town out there in Salton Sea. And someone on Creepypasta found these images and basically wrote this whole backstory about like this abandoned town, and it went viral. And so now this mask has millions of views. This Creepypasta is like went viral. And Laura at one point was like, hey, like, that's our photo, trying to take ownership of it. And everyone's like, yeah, whatever. But it just like took off online. People started putting it on merchandise.
Are you serious? Your mask from Labyrinth?
From Labyrinth.
Wow.
So it became this kind of, running joke. So then she still had the mask, and she's a YouTuber. And so made a whole YouTube video about the mask, and we called it like the curse mask. And so then just a couple of years ago, we decided this thing's falling apart. It's like just eroding, almost turning into like a dust because it's old now. And so we went back to Salton Sea and buried it out there. That's kind of
cool, like a send off. That's cool.
Yes. So somewhere in the Salton Sea, this mask is buried.
So the legend of the toe mask, continues on the Salton Sea. I heard it's haunted there now.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
I think that started the haunting. For sure.
So between Labyrinth and the time you mentioned in Carnival, what other mazes did you work in?
Yeah, so started in Labyrinth, then my next year went to Virus Z, the zombie maze. And I would say that's the most fun I've had in a maze. I met so many great friends there that I still have to this day. Like, Rudy Luna, who spent some time at Haunt, Destiny Peters, just a lot of great friends that I still keep in touch with. And it was just a giant party. Like, I love streets, but there's something about the group effort of a maze that just, it's hard to beat in the streets. And you just have such a fun time, like sending people through this assembly line and then poking out the next door and just wrecking people as they come in. And so, I think that's one of my favorite years. That was 2011. So then from there, I went to Carnival for 1 year. It's my first year on streets, then got mazed because there used to be this tradition where clowns would go through Virus Z and then zombies would go through street zones, and it became this whole thing. Somewhere in the process of that, someone's phone got broken. And so myself and my buddy Seth got blamed for a broken phone, and I got mazed. So I went to Trapped the next year. So that was Trapped year 2, and that was the year where there was sewers, there was a tunnel of spiders, and then you go into a padded cell where the walls close in on you. Right after the padded cell, there's a janitor closet, and I was one of the janitors. And so the whole gimmick there, it was kind of a, if you haven't experienced Trap before, it was a escape room before escape rooms were pretty popular. And so as you enter the janitor's closet, there's a body in the corner, kind of in the dimly lit corner, and the guts are coming out. And so I had this torso prosthetic with like all sorts of guts spilling out of it. And what I would do is I had this basically bottle of like kind of gore. It was like fake blood and pus and whatever. And so you'd fill the cavity that you're wearing with this gore, and there's a key card in there. And so people had to reach their hand into the gut pocket, grab this key card, and then they could advance to the next room. And so the fun part about Trapped is at the time it was touch was allowed. So you can, if someone's going through your gut, you could grab them by their shoulders and kind of scream in their face. And so it was pretty unique to Trapped that we were able to do that. I think the only other times that existed at Knott's was way back in the day before, social media and what have you.
Oh, the 90s were wild. When I was a kid in the 90s going to Haunt, it's just wild.
Yeah.
What made them not follow through and do Trapped and like the skeleton keys and all that?
That's a good question. I think I'm not exactly sure what led to them not doing it anymore, but I know there's opportunities to do it now because it's like escape rooms are massively popular. They're popping up like everywhere. And so my hope is that eventually within the next few years, they bring it back in some sort of capacity. But I know that it was a little challenging, just the operation of it all, because, you know, you're booking time slots in advance. It's an upcharge. And I think some of that kind of system takes additional staffing. And so it was just more so, I think, an operational challenge than anything. But yeah, it was so fun. And two, that was where I got a lot of experience with just some hilarious celebrity interactions too. You know, you had Katy Perry come through, Miley Cyrus, like all those folks, and they always wanted to play. You know, they're always really into the experience. And so just had some hilarious times entrapped. And you know, it's unfortunate it went away, but we'll see. Maybe it'll come back some year.
I had an experience. I started in 2018 with Sinister Point Productions.
Yeah.
And Andy Dick, you know who Andy Dick is? He came through. Poor Andy Dick. Sorry, dude. So I was like, okay, and I'm new. Yeah. I'm just, you know, I like to poke fun at people. That's my thing. And I figure I finally learned a couple of years ago, my thing's banter.
Yeah.
You know, I could scare, but you know, you can scare people all night, and like Gordon was perfect because of the banter. So I'm like, you know, I'm just going to like roast him. And then he came in and I'm trying to be nice to the guy. He hit the wall.
Okay.
And he just looked older and his hair was gray. I'm like, oh, poor Andy Dick. And I just started making fun of his career.
Yeah.
And I just say, hey, you look a little long in the tooth. I'm going to put you out to pasture. And he was so offended. And he had like the O face. Like, he couldn't believe I was just roasting him. And I was like, you better run, rabbit. And he took off running.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm going to chase you and I'm going to get you. And I was like, and I made fun of him. I was like, I was more of a Pauly Shore fan because they did that movie In the Army Now, whatever, together. But I roasted Andy Dick and he just couldn't believe it. It was just like, that was like my one celebrity. Oh, no, Elvira wasn't, if they had the 50th, that kind of like gave her a hard time. We just walked through the streets as, you know, Cassandra Peterson. But,
yeah. That's fun. I like when they show up in their no ego.
Yeah.
You know, and I think my favorite experience in that way was at Great Horror Campout. I don't know if you ever got the chance to go.
I so wanted to go to that.
Oh, it was so fun. Those are some of my favorite times scaring, and just the sheer like chaos that ensued at those events was so fun. But I opened Great Horror Campout and then scared, I think, two more years after that.
Okay.
And one of the years it was at the old Griffith Park Zoo.
Yeah, but they did the movie nights there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where they had the movie nights. And I was one of the camp counselors. It just like another thumb character. I don't know why I keep getting these like thumb looking, but they put me in a bald cap and pulled strands of hair out. It was hilarious looking. But anyways, I was the camp counselor, and they did a moment where they did immersive movies. So they would show clips from, you know, say Rocky Horror Picture Show or just some of these cult classics. So one of the movies they were showing was The Birds. And as camp counselors, as these characters, we were part of bringing this immersive element to life. So I get up on stage, and our whole gig or shtick was we would chuck mayonnaise on the crowd as if it's bird poop. Ew. And it was like just kind of this funny like gimmick.
That's disgusting.
So I get up there one of the nights, and I look in the very front row is Elijah Wood. Like Frodo.
No, dude.
And so he has no idea what he's getting himself into. We're about to chuck mayonnaise on them and whatever.
Did you target Frodo on purpose?
Dude, I went for Frodo, like fully. And so I have this jar of mayonnaise, and I could tell that he's like wanting to play. He's like, yeah, let's go. You know, this is fun, whatever. So we start like lightly kind of chucking mayonnaise on people. And then my buddy goes, do the whole jar. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, do the whole jar. And so I take the whole jar of mayonnaise and just whip it at Frodo, at Elijah Wood.
Now, what size? Is it a spoon you're using?
So originally a spoon, but then I ditched the spoon and I just take the whole canister and just turn it upside down and
shut up, dude.
Unleash.
Okay.
And he gives this like really pissed off face. And then within a few seconds, because I'm like freaking out, I'm like, oh no, I crossed the line. And his face turns from absolute horror to like cracking up, like crying, laughing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, thank goodness. Like he's not angry. He's having a good time, but he was just covered in mayonnaise.
Could they see you guys flinging mayonnaise? Not the greatest smell when it's been smelled.
No, it's nasty, man. It is nasty. That whole event was pretty rank because there were one of the years there was this moment where you had to dip your head into this kiddie pool of mud. It was like mud and fake blood, and then wring it out into a bucket. And the first team that like filled the bucket would be able to advance to the next level, because it was like this gamified haunt experience.
Okay.
And so, I mean, you would see people covered in mud, fake blood, mayonnaise. We were able to like put people in the trunks of cars and lock them in there.
Shut up.
And they would sprinkle baby powder all over it, and it just like had this nasty, unsettling scent. And so they would come up and
I've never seen videos of. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you camped out,
yeah,
I think you indicated with a flag the level of involvement you wanted.
Somewhat. I think it was originally like a necklace, like basically like a Nobu necklace. But I would say it was more so like a section of tents.
Got it.
And it was like, hey, don't mess with us.
Don't mess with me.
And like there was probably only like 5 tents in that section, because the rest of the people were like, hey, let's go full ham.
Okay.
And so I have a distinct memory of like John Cook, who from Plague Productions. He came the very first year with Antho from Ghost Town and a lot of friends. And I remember there was a moment, it's probably like around 3:30 a.m. And you have the glow of Los Angeles lights, because that first year when we opened, it was kind of like in the middle of around Koreatown. There's a big park there. And so we were in this park, and I remember like everyone had kind of gone to sleep. There was a couple stragglers, but like for the most part it was quiet on camp. And then all of a sudden at 3:30 they would crank heavy metal, and it was just like full bore. We're ripping out tent poles from tents. We're like doing cannonballs onto people. And so I remember distinctly like John Cook getting out of his tent after we'd collapsed it on him, and like Antho and all of them, and just like cracking up. I think actually that year John might have been a monster with me too. I think he was in a chupacabra suit.
Did they run the camp out? It wasn't running with haunt season, was it?
No, so it was like middle of summer.
Summer, that's right. It was a summer event. That's how you guys were to work it. That's right.
And that was the fun part too, because it like kind of gives you a couple touch points throughout the year to scare. So it wasn't just like a fall thing anymore. They had that summer event.
That's right.
But definitely more of kind of the Hollywood casting style for that event. And so there was a lot of camp counselors that, would submit headshots and had talking roles where I just acted like a complete goof and made it a little more just like kind of clown-esque, where some of the other camp counselors were much more like dialed in with lines and stuff.
So they're probably like SAG cards.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was a huge fan of the original productions, the 1031 that did the Hayride. Yeah. I started going to Hayride in 2012, 2013. I loved it.
Oh, cool.
Nothing against 13th Floor, but like every year was different. Yeah. And I love the fact that Hayride stopped and there was like a corn maze, or there was like an asylum, or there was like a carnival. I loved it every year. And they had I think like 2 or 3 mazes in their little midway, and it never felt like they had a theme park or like a pop-up. It felt like you were in the woods. Yeah. And the fact they used, they used actual facades from the zoo, and they had like their blackout maze, which was like strobe lights, and they actually gave us like clown masks to wear, and there was clowns in the maze. So I'm like, is that like a guest, or is that an actual clown?
That's cool. I
dug it. The coolest little thing they did, I think they still do it now, but it's more of like a full on like maze. They had it was called Trick or Treat. It was literally like 8 doors. Yeah. And as kids, you're supposed to be kids going trick or treating. You get like a drunken, like an adult at a party or whatever. Yeah. And then and one dude came out, and he was like in his underwear, and like his porch lights were off or whatever. Yeah. And he was like in his underwear, like tidy whities and like a robe wide open. He's like, "What do you want?" And he had like long hair, and he was skinny. He looked like Ted Nugent.
Oh my goodness.
And we want candy, Ted Nugent. And I told him that, and I see him smirk, and he's all like, he wanted to breathe. Get off my lawn! I don't have any candy.
Yeah, about to break.
That was cool, because it was just like the coolest little event, and everyone's like, "What's the Hayride?" Because I remember it used to be at Gillette Ranch, I think. Okay. And then they moved it down to the park. Yeah. And then I just liked it because it was small, it wasn't crowded. And some people, "Well, I don't like it." I'm like, well, because you're used to Universal, used to this.
Yeah,
so
high production.
It's like $85, you get the VIP experience.
Yeah.
And every year was a different theme. And then one year, it might have been the second or third year I went, they actually took like lore or actual stories of murders that happened in the park.
Oh, wow.
So when you're going in, you get onto the trailers of like whatever tractor they're towing you, like they had chain link fences off to the side of the road.
Yeah.
And they had old, just tube televisions stacked on top of each other. And they're actually showing like news clips of like, oh, murder in, Griffith Park and this and that, like the actual history of everything going on there. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So they played like, they made the theme that year, like things that have actually happened in the event.
Okay.
And they had like their own version of like a purge event or like purgatory and all that. I dug it. I totally dug that. And I remember I started watching that camp out. I'm like, oh, I want to go to that.
Yeah.
At the time I was dating someone, someone else, another girl, but not Krista, but she's like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to be that dude going by himself.
And that's when you broke up, right?
Pretty much.
That's the reason.
Actually, we broke up. We went to one of the movie nights there.
Okay.
And we went to go see Halloween. And for some reason, she got mad. And I think she drank a little too much.
Oh, no.
She got mad at me for something and like had a fit. And then I think when she sobered up, she realized, granted, I was still driving my old car. So it was prior to 2017.
Yeah.
Because I bought my Charger in 2017. And on the way back to taking her to Long Beach, I think she kind of sobered up and realized, and she said, oh my gosh, like she realized she overreacted.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I think after I drop you off, I doubt I'm ever going to see you again after this.
Yeah.
So,
You're like, see ya.
So that wet blanket is the reason why I never went to the camp
Okay.
out. So
Okay.
I didn't know you worked that, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. For 3 years. And then they tried to take it on tour and I think it went okay, but that is initially what kind of led to it fizzling out.
Okay.
I think they spent a lot on trying to get it up in 5 or 6 different cities. And so I think the last year of it was had to be like 2017.
That sucks. I know my buddy,
really fun event.
My buddy Isaac Cruz, who I met at Dark Harbor, he worked it.
Yeah.
And he also worked, the Great American...
the Rob Zombie one.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie one at the fairgrounds. He worked
cool.
that. And see, he's perfect for that. Isaac, I love you to death. He's a trash talker.
Okay.
So he likes to talk trash. And then we had our moments. And we both worked in Feast in Dark Harbor. And so I'll tell you some stories later on.
Yeah.
He's that guy. But I had no idea you did that. Nice.
Yeah. It was a ton of fun. And too, it was just like, there was some funny moments that you could have there that you wouldn't get at like a different haunt, like at Scary Farm. And so like one of my favorites was, and similar to my Candyman character, actually, like I think a lot of really eerie moments come from not talking because, it's one thing I instilled in my Candyman character that as soon as you start chatting with guests or whatever, it humanizes that character. And so I think to me, the scariest things are, the type of monsters that you can't wrap your head around. They're not the like trash talkers. They're not the like, oh, I did a slide, whatever. It's the monsters that really just create this eeriness that you can't get out of your head. And so that's what I tried to create this character about. But I kind of learned that at Girl Horror Camp Out. And so I was this camp counselor, and one of the guests that we had was, all jolly, having a good time. And I wrapped him up and he's trying to chat with me. And I just went radio silent. Wasn't saying anything. He's like, oh, come on, man. Like having a good time. Nothing. And so then I start walking him out into the middle of the woods. And we're walking for like probably a good 5 minutes. I'm not saying anything. He's still trying to humanize the character. And so at one point, we get out into the middle of the woods and there's a bunch of like Mothman character with these giant wings. And they can wrap people up in the middle of them.
Okay.
And so I'm walking him out to these Mothmen. But the whole time he starts breaking down. And he's like... because he's trying to chat, no one's responding. He's like, where are we going? This could be someone like actually kidnapping me. And so we get out there and he's starting to panic and his voice is starting to crack. And so it's just like that kind of fun experience of like breaking down a tough guy in that moment is kind of what I brought into Candyman as well. And so then I left him with the Mothman, and I think I had a bag over his head, like blindfold or whatever, and took the bag off, and then he's in the middle of like, there's probably like 4 Mothmen, and they're giant, like probably 7-foot wings. And I just hear him like blood curdling scream at the top of his lungs. He's like, you left me out here with all these guys. And he's panicking, and I just kind of pieced out. And so somewhere that guy is thinking about me, and he's like, why wouldn't that monster talk to me? Like, whatever.
That's why I dig Michael Myers, dude. Because it's like,
exactly.
Is he supernatural? Is he just superhuman? Why is he quiet? What's the story behind him? And that's why I dig the boogeyman. It's always been my.
That's cool.
To the point, like, I was terrified by him to like, I cosplayed him and like infatuated with him. I'm tattooed, but I got a tattoo of him. But
yeah,
I totally gets it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Carnival? Your experience?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us about your character in Carnival.
Yeah. So my Carnival character was Zeke, the terrible mime. And
Zeke,
yeah,
I didn't know he had a name.
Yeah, and the whole premise was that my slight backstory was that my family was on the way to the carnival, and we accidentally hit the actual mime with our Model T car going through the parking lot.
I love that, dude.
So I had to cover up for his accidental murder, and so the whole idea was that like I would go between talking and then remembering that like, oh, I'm supposed to be playing this mime character. And so it was a fun dynamic out there where, I was in the stripes. I think it was myself and then Gus Kruger were the only two like that have done a mime in Carnival at that point. And so I'd asked him actually like for permission ahead of time, which like is more of a courtesy. It's not, totally necessary, but I'd seen him out there and was like, oh, I like that. I wonder if I could put my own spin on it. And so I had a blast doing it. I had the big X paint over my mouth, and had kind of stitch marks on the X to kind of show that, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to be quiet, but I would obviously break out into shenanigans and talk and whatever. But it was a fun character. And then that first year I played Zeke, the terrible mime, I had a small accordion. And so I hadn't really seen too many noise, like squeeze boxes or noise makers in that way, like instruments used on Carnival. So I brought that to the scare.
Okay.
And had a blast, just like, as you mentioned up kind of at the top of the show, I've got some speed for being 6'5", and so I feel like I have a pretty good quick step, and so quick step with that accordion was always my go-to. And then, just all sorts of shenanigans in Carnival.
I heard you got into not trouble, but you had a very colorful character.
Yes. I would do my thing in Carnival too was like I wanted people to leave with memories that just cracked them up and that they wouldn't see elsewhere. Like, if they go into Ghost Town, they're not going to see the guy with palm tree leaves, like duct taped to their hands, acting like they're crab claws. They're not going to see that anywhere else. Or like I had this pizza box that I had commandeered from a trash can and had a wig, like someone's wig in the pizza box, and I had my hand cut through the bottom of the box, and so it was like this is supposed to be like this dog, quote unquote, in the pizza box, and I was like, you want a slice, whatever.
So you'd go, hey, you want to?
Oh yeah,
people are so dumb. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and
I wouldn't. No, I'm good. I wouldn't trust them. No, I know what you're up to. No.
Yeah. And then definitely, did some cannonballs into the fountain and hidden trash cans.
I heard about the cannonballs. I heard about the trash cans.
Yeah. And funny enough, like never really got fired for any of that.
Right.
But I think nowadays it would be like, hey, kick rocks.
Different time back then.
Yeah. I remember one of my cast leads, I was in the trash can poking my eyeballs out, and one of the cast leads came by and pounded on the top. He's like, Milk, get out. And I thought he was joking around. And so I just kept going, kept doing my shtick. If people would come by, I would crawl out of the trash can. And then he's like, Milk, if you want a job tomorrow, you better get your butt out of the trash can. So I've got some funny photos of that. But yeah, I had a really good time on Carnival. I think if I end my kind of haunt career somewhere, it'd probably be back in Clowntown. Okay. So
how long were you in Clowntown for?
I think in total I was there for 5 years.
Oh, same character every year?
Yeah. It kind of progressed. But the very last year I scared in Carnival, I got most creative, and that's when I knew it was time to bounce. I'm not really like a monster of the year type person. Like I want to, have people questioning their sanity when they leave, not necessarily being like, oh, that's
You're not hyper focused on like the awards.
No,
I got to get monster of the year. Some people, so I know they're each his own. Yeah. Some people, that's what they shoot for.
Yeah.
All I want to do, me personally, this is Rick. The same memories I had as a guest, I just want to create those for others.
Yep.
Because 100%. One day, that 15-year-old kid, which I was, he might be a monster 30 years from now.
Yeah.
He might be a monster 10 years from now. He's going to remember, I remember that skinny 6'5" clown jumping out of a trash can with a pizza box.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not thinking, I want to be that guy because he got monster of the year. No, I want to be that guy who created that memory for me. And who knows what kind of day that person had.
Yeah.
They're going through. If you just give them a distraction for a moment, you did your job.
Dude, you nailed it. That's why I do it. That's why I really do anything. I want to bring joy to people, and inspire people to
Thank you.
be creative and just like make memories for others and for themselves. And so, that's why I do it. Like along the way, I've like picked up some fun plaques and whatever.
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
whatever, but they sit in my drawers and collect dust and
Right.
whatever. Cause in reality, like the real benefit that I've experienced from Haunt is A, like helping me amplify my creativity, B, making lifelong friends, and then C, just like you said, it's a bit of an escape from real life. And I think we've all kind of gone through some heavy stuff,
Right.
In real life, where Haunt and being able to put on a mask and being able to escape has really helped. And so yeah, I mean, that's why I do it.
Good for you, man. You have the right mentality.
Yeah. Thank you.
So how did you end up over in Ghost Town in the evolution of Candyman?
Yeah. So I after I did my 5 years in Carnival, a lot of my friends would kind of bounce into different zones.
Okay.
And so Ghost Town was really the first zone I experienced, being in the front of the park, all the way back when I saw my bandmate Ash, scaring. And so I said, well, maybe it's time to try something new. And so when I created this character, I knew that I wanted to do something that is completely opposite of my Carnival character. And so my Carnival character was wacky and zany and loud and always fast on the move and doing all sorts of nonsense. And so I went, well, let's create some rules around this new character. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to be extremely slow to very fast, like have a range to it. And then I'm going to keep all the shenanigans out of there. Now there's been a couple where, a couple seasons where I get the itch to be a clown again, and I'll jump on my cane and ride it around like it's a horse or, whatever.
Right.
The clown comes back out. It's hard to get rid of. But, for the most part, I took the character pretty seriously, to the point where I'd be backstage and people would chat with me. And my rule for myself is, as long as the mask is on, like, you're not talking to Matthew, it's the Candyman. And so I'm going to be quiet or do that.
I get it.
Yeah. Do that weird noise that you're referring to. And so created some rules around it, but also just took some of my favorite movies and games and kind of really added that into the character. So, for example, the hand with syringes that lights up,
yes,
supposed to be like honey flowing through. Kind of got the idea from Scarecrow from Batman Arkham Asylum games.
Nice,
also,
nice.
Freddy Krueger a bit.
Okay.
The whole honey and beehive in the head and that sort of thing
came
from
dude.
BioShock, which is one of my favorite game series.
Okay.
And one of the main character in that game, you can shoot bees out of your hand. So it kind of came with that territory. And then obviously like a little Willy Wonka as well.
I like that.
So yeah. So just combining some of my favorite things. And then again, the psychology behind the scare was removing those moments where guests can connect with me. I actually don't want them to connect with me because I think that takes away from the character. I want them to look at it and go like, so that's why I don't have eyes, because I'm like, eyes are the window to the soul. I want people to not be able to connect and just be so weirded out by it. And then same thing with talking, as I mentioned. It's like, as soon as you get to chat with the monsters, they just become a normal person. So I'm like, I want to preserve the character behind it. So
I kind of experienced that last year. Like, to me, it just looked like me with a horrible mustache. Like, I get it. I love the character I played. Obviously, I'm moving on. That's by choice.
Yeah,
I loved it. Like, I developed it, but I was like, it just looks like me with like, I look like a firefighter from LA County.
Yeah,
and I did the best I could, contacts and like grimacing and it's my voice and all that. But I just like, it just looks like me. Like, I want to disappear behind the character. I don't want people to like think, oh, it's just a dude. Like, no, I want you to think I'm like this 6'4" guy who's like gonna like pummel you, but like give you like backhanding compliments at the same time.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they asked me to work in room 13.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Hey, do you want to work in the gambling room?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
So I'm behind, I think, the roulette table or like the craps table, whatever. I'm scaring guests, and then these kids come up, and the guy pulls out a D20 for like D&D, which I play.
Heck yeah.
He gives it to me to roll it. And I roll like a 17, and I'm like, "Hey, it sucks to be you, kid." And I took the D20 and put it in my pocket. He's like, "Hey," but I eventually gave it back to him. I was like, "Here you go." Yeah.
That's awesome.
So anyway,
heck yeah.
So I love the inspirations. Like you use BioShock, the Batman game, and then Willy Wonka, and it just. Did you do the costuming on your own? Or was it provided? Or?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I did. So the whole thing is built by me. I think 2 or 3 years in, I worked with a friend on the hat. And they have a production company called Raptor House Effects, and so they actually created. It's kind of cool. They created the hand for Wednesday, the Netflix series.
Okay,
and so they like created the robotics in that, and have since found a lot of just great gigs and success. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to work with a friend Jesse on that, and then the mask originally was Eric Labate, who also did my Carnival mask. And he's been in the haunt industry for, probably 20 plus years creating masks. And then the version that I wore most recently mask was done by Jesse from Immortal Masks in Hollywood. So he recasted me, kind of updated my face, and used a different material. It's a little more malleable, so I could move my face a bit. And so yeah, it's been slightly a team effort, but most of it I created. And so honestly, the hand with the syringes is all stuff from Home Depot, and then the lights are what they call L wire, and so it's L wire running through some surgical tubes into some pieces from Home Depot. They're like kind of duct pieces and various things. But yeah, just kind of built it from scratch. And that is like my pride and joy. I love that glove. Eventually I want to see if I can get it to look like the honeys are running through the wires. Right now it's just constant on, but it'd be cool to add some sort of animation to it or something of that matter. But we'll see. Let's see what the future holds.
How long was your Candyman run?
I think it was 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. And so the first year, my costume was pretty bad. It was like, I bought it at a thrift store, and I think it was like a pajamas top that I had tea-dyed and just some slacks or something like that. And then the second year on, I got some kind of custom tailored suit pieces, and unfortunately they don't sell those pieces anymore. And so if I end up coming back, I got to either lose some muscle and some weight, or have it like cut and tailored. The years catch up with you. But
I had better success with doing coffee staining than tea. But then you really have to air it out.
Yeah.
Because for Pirates Cave, like that whole room smelled like a Starbucks.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Because like I used to leave my costume there, and unfortunately, because I lived in an old house in Santa Ana, and so I did my distressing in the basement.
Yeah.
And I had nowhere to air it out, so I found I better air it out outside. So it just smelled like just roasted coffee the entire time.
Oh man!
But better
that could be a perk though.
But better than like being kind of funky.
Oh, totally.
But like they're like, why does it smell like coffee? But it's my costume. So I did coffee staining instead of distressing.
Okay.
I said a tea staining. So tea I tried once with one of my shirts for Ren Fair, and it just didn't really give it the look I wanted.
Yeah, it doesn't take as well, I don't think.
Yeah, but the coffee, like for the tabard for like the Templar that I played, for Cronenberg, it was grungy, and then I was able to spray it with paint, like fabric paint, and make it look like I was bloody and all that. But
oh, cool.
I never had success with tea, maybe because I just wanted to do the coffee.
Yeah. I think I might have tried coffee on my Carnival pants. But yeah, it's funny, like just picking up the tricks of the trade throughout the years too. A lot of the Candyman costume involved like setting things on fire.
Really?
Yeah. So like I had to set the hat on fire to get like the chunk out of it. Cause I'm like, if I cut it, that's fine. But like, it's going to look like cuts. And so I just lit it on fire. And so it burned naturally this big hole in it, where then I could add the foam in and add the different, kind of like honeycomb cells into it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then that's rigged with some tea lights as well, like that you'd kind of almost like Christmas lights, but all battery powered. The initial idea too with that was to add a Bluetooth speaker in there, so that if you get near me, you hear the hum of the hive.
Shut up, dude! Really?
Yeah, but like I got a little paranoid, like having a big speaker near my head the whole night. I don't know. There's something about it where I'm like, who knows what kind of radioactivity that.
No, I get it. It's all Bluetooth. So I get it.
Might get headaches.
That would be so cool. I mean, the smallest ones I've seen, like I have one that's like 4x2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I never thought about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you crossed over from talent getting into film and promo for Knots, right?
Yeah. So I actually did it like simultaneously. So I started I started as a entertainment designer for Knott's around, I think it was 2016 or 17. I had this instance where I sat in a wheelchair that guests were pushing around in Ghost Town, and somehow the wheelchair disappeared, and then I got blamed for that. This wheelchair disappearing. Just as kind of a gimmick. I was like rolling around as a Candyman, ditched the cane, was on wheels. And so ended up having my season cut short because of that. And then the next week they called me up and said, hey, do you want to be a filmmaker full time at Knott's? So I got fired and then promoted, which is awesome. And so from, I think it was 2017 on, it was myself and my good friend Jared Allman, and we kind of ran the video department for Scary Farm. And so we filmed all the Maze trailers that you've seen.
I love those, dude. Oh,
thank you.
God.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah. All the video special effects, so like any of the screen content that's in Mazes, we did all in-house, which was really, really fun. And so I think one of my first ones was for Dark Ride.
Oh, love that one.
Yeah.
Besides Trick or Treat, one of my favorite mazes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a great one. Really loved the maze, and then the trailer was super fun. So we actually filmed it over at Castle Park. And
really?
Yeah, they have this Ghost Blasters like ride / game where it's like laser tag, but you shoot these big cutouts of ghosts. And
Okay.
whatever. And so the whole idea behind that trailer was it's supposed to feel like an abandoned theme park or abandoned dark ride. And so that was like a 16-hour shoot.
Yikes.
On site. We had to wait till Castle Park closed and got in the maze and decked it out with set deco and all that stuff. But that was one of my first ones. And then really that kind of department / approach, I think, kind of paved the way for a lot of the haunts to pick up similar style effects and similar style promos. So we hadn't really seen like Universal or any of those mega brands like put out maze trailers or anything like that until
Nice, man.
Until this guy Daryl, who worked at Knott's and unfortunately has since passed, but really kind of started with the Tooth Fairy trailer. And one day he on his break just filmed this kind of commercial for Tooth Fairy, and found a bedpan kicking around at home and brought that in and pushed light through a fan spinning and gave a cool shadow effect on the bedpan and dropped some fake teeth in there and basically created the first kind of maze trailer, which would then lead to short films and us doing it all the following years. But yeah, I think the amount of Scary Farm content was nearing like 100 pieces that we've worked on.
Geez, so every promo you've had your hands on pretty much.
Yeah.
So like going back to like Pumpkin Eater.
Yep.
Like
Pumpkin Eater. I think that was probably my first year. It was the year after the Tooth Fairy trailer. Okay. So like Trick or Treat, Pumpkin Eater, those are some of my first ones. Okay. And then all the way through last year.
Really?
And so, yeah, I
the Depths ones.
Depths we did. Yeah, man. There's so many, and I would say that really led to the success of where I am now in a senior producer role for OC Sports and Entertainment is really Knott's Berry Farm. I got my start, in basically as a tech at Knott's, and to kind of summarize like how I landed where I am now. I was going to recording engineering school. I was about to ask about that. Yeah, I thought I wanted to produce records full time and did it for a while. I still write and produce records, but thought I wanted to work in music full time as an engineer. And had a friend say, it's not all it's cut out to be. You'll get a lot of clients that you just don't even love their music that you're working on. And so I was like, well, I want to decide what projects I'm working on. So kind of put that aside and became a tech at Knott's. And as I was training to become a tech, I met this guy, Jared Allman, who had been a tech there as well. And was working with Daryl on this Tooth Fairy promo, and then had this upcoming season that he's going to do a Pumpkin Eater trailer for and all these other ones. And so, I had just popped the question as we're training. I'm like, who works on the Scary Farm content? Because it's awesome. Like I'd always been a fan since going the first time and had seen these videos start to pop up. And he's like, well, actually, we don't really have a dedicated team. We're kind of doing it DIY.
Wow.
And he's like, but if you have any experience in filmmaking, like, we'd love your help on set. And I was like, I don't know anything about cameras, but like, I can hold a boom mic, you know, if you guys need sound effects. And so he said, okay, cool. Well, why don't you come by next week? We're filming this promo for this maze called Pumpkin Eater. You know, maybe you can hold a microphone. And so he basically taught me everything he knew about filmmaking, and really was a godsend. He, you know, he'll be humble about it, but really helped my career kind of expand and explode into the place I am now, just by having me on set and being so generous with his knowledge and his experience as we were there shooting these promos. And it's really cool too. I mean, he's taken like all these guys and gals under his wing as we're on set, and done the same. He's like, hey, I've got nothing to lose. Like, here's all the information. You're not a threat to my career. Like, let me kind of mentor you almost in filmmaking. And so it's been a really cool, not like an official learning grounds, but like he's providing that for a lot of young talent. And so so I'm so thankful for my experience there.
Man.
So
at that point, you're as far as your education, you were focusing more on music.
yeah.
At what point did you transition? Like, hey, music's probably not going to be my thing. I want to focus more on film and production.
Yeah.
Was it the turning point when you started working with these projects at Knott's?
It was. Yeah, okay. It was being on set and just getting to like add my creative voice to the mix. And I think there was something really palpable about that, where you get to add your opinions or your creative insight or whatever it may be, but then see the outcome of it once it's a commercial or once it's on social and people are like eating it up because they're big fans of it and fans of the event. I think that was a major payoff where I went, oh, there's something unique about this that music at that point in my life didn't necessarily provide. And so it was that, but then also seeing kind of the trajectory of where it could take my career and being able to like support myself, because unfortunately at the time and kind of still now, like music, you know, it doesn't sell as much, you know, it's not as, not like, you know, I think creating a career in music still exists, but not in the way that it did when album sales were huge and physical merchandise was huge and those sorts of things, where I see every single business having a need for video content. You know?
It's never going to go away.
No.
I mean, it'll never go away. Yeah.
And so from there, I started filming at Knott's, but then also started my own business and becoming a freelance filmmaker for different brands. And over COVID, started working for an ad agency. So we were working on projects for like Colgate and Garnier and, you know, I saw that. Just huge brands.
I saw was it Coke and what else?
Coca-Cola.
The Walking Dead.
Yep.
What else? I have the list. Jeez.
Just so many different, like random.
I went on your website. I'm like, wow, it's like just, and then your own music. We're going to go down that rabbit hole too. But you are definitely a man of many hats and jack of all trades. And, And Donald being just an amazing dude. Like, I really admire who you are, dude.
I appreciate that.
I'm not just blowing smoke up your skirt. I'm being sincere.
I'm not wearing a skirt, dude. It's shorts.
Oh, well, shorts. Sorry.
No, but I appreciate that, and it's something I definitely take pride in. My, you know, a bit of a Renaissance man, but also, you know, it's kind of funny. People go, "Well, jack of all trades, master of none," but I say, you know, it's not the full quote. So the full quote is jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. And so in my life, it's like, sure, I could double, triple down on one practice or one skill set or whatever. But where I've found success is like saying yes to a variety of projects. So if that's producing a record, if that's filming a commercial, I'll do voiceover work, you know, even in my role now. And just saying yes to things that kind of help me expand outside my comfort zone. And so, yeah, I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Well, I think we're at a stopping point.
Cool.
We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be back in just a bit.
See ya.
You're listening
to
the Creepcast.
Hey guys, this is Rick Creeper 11 again. Just want to say thank you so much for being supportive of the podcast since its inception. Is that the word? Since 2019, for every episode when I was at Sinister Point, Dark Harbor, Midsummer Scream, and down at the Scary Farm. You're the reason why I do this. You're the reason why I put in the time, the effort, and the labor, because if I could create something for you that's going to distract you for a minute or make your ride, enjoyable on the way to work or home, or just have you check out from all the BS that's going on in the world, it's all worthwhile. So thank you again to all the supporters. Thank you for the listeners out there. Thank you for all the fans, the guests at Scary Farm, everyone who's been involved somehow, indirectly or directly, everything I've done. You're the reason why I did it. And it feels good to be back. And yeah, man.
What does a mime look like when he's having sex anyway? Probably like, I'm a mime. I'm a mime.
You're listening to the Creepcast.
All righty, we're back. You guys probably won't pick it up, but me and Matthew were just talking about this stupid fly that's been buzzing around the mics, and we were picking it. You guys probably won't hear, but we'll see.
It's actually bees.
It's actually bees from the Candyman. Yes,
That's right. Thanks for the giant glass of milk, by the way, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. You know what's funny? I was going to do it as a joke because the milk that we get from Sprouts, it comes straight from a dairy.
Oh, okay.
I forget the name of the dairy, but it's in the city of Montebello, and it comes like the glass bottles.
Oh, heck yeah.
So as a joke, I was going to give you one, and we were going to drink them on the mic, but we didn't. So
dang, man, that's all right.
Anyways, so back to who you are. So earlier I was taking a look at your website and a lot of the different projects you worked on.
Yeah.
You mentioned Coke.
Yeah.
You've mentioned, of course, Knots, and then what's the makeup brand? Elf, I believe.
Yeah, Elf Cosmetics. Yeah, that was actually a really interesting project because it mixed makeup with my music background.
Okay.
So we produced a record about Elf Cosmetics, like makeup products. It was kind of like hip hop, pop, that sort of thing for the holidays. And so we actually put out the record, and it did really well. They're kind of just like fun, gimmicky songs, but ended up getting on the Billboard Top 100 for some certain category. And so
nice,
it was like,
dude.
The fact that we were able to put out brand music that like hit a Billboard chart, it was nuts. But that one was fun. I've worked with Mattel, the toy company.
Disney, Colgate. I'm looking at The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Sony Music.
Yeah.
Yogurtland, by the way. I love just their plain yogurt.
Yeah.
And just with fresh berries.
Okay.
Yeah, or the New York cheesecake if I'm in a cheat meal deal or whatever.
Yeah, that was fun because we did a Knott's Berry Farm Yogurtland collab commercial.
Really?
So they did like a boysenberry flavor.
That's right.
So we shot the ad for that. Super fun.
Am I reading this correct? Jim Henson as well?
Yeah. So we did a lot of the promo material for Puppet Up, and we shot it at the Jim Henson studio.
You've done a lot.
So yeah, that was actually a really cool experience that I got through Knott's as well. Because we were there promoting Puppet Up, which is Brian Henson, Jim's son's kind of show. It's like an improv with puppets, if you haven't seen it. But they invited us onto the Jim Henson lot in LA, and so we got to tour their sound stages where just so many films were made. You know, you got Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and all these different movies. But then the coolest thing was Brian showed us his office, which was also Charlie Chapman's office and his father's office, Jim Henson's office. And so he had all the old slates and all the, awards. It got to hold I think it was like an Emmy or like one of the awards.
Right.
And just tour this historic like movie site in LA, which was really fun. So yeah, I've had some really like random but unique experiences that not everyone gets to just through making content. So
after you started working, doing the content for Knott's, that you feel like that was kind of the jumping point that piqued your interest to navigate that road?
Yep, totally. Because that led to, freelancing, working for a bunch of different brands, kind of some of the ones we've named. But then also just kind of cutting my teeth on producing, which is a whole different skill set. I mean, it's really working with a brand to ensure that their creative vision is captured for content. And so you're kind of that in-between person between the brand, the film crew, sound designers, all of that, and really orchestrating the creative content that takes place. And a lot of times I was also part of the production company that was filming and what have you. But I think, I would definitely say that Knott's was that jumping off point.
Okay.
Because then from there, I was also simultaneously working at Disney. So,
okay. You were there for a while, weren't you?
Yeah. 8 years at the Grand California Hotel as a ops manager, or ops lead, they call it in Disney, but managing a crew. And so those two things really led me to where I am today. Mm-hmm. So, kind of segue at OC Sports and Entertainment. It's the kind of container company of the Anaheim Ducks, Honda Center, which is our venue, and then OC Vibe, which is a 100-acre, $4 billion entertainment district that we're building. So it involves more than 25 new restaurants, 3 new concert venues,
wow.
2 hotels, a bunch of residences, outdoor parks. And so it's, to me, what I would describe as like once in a lifetime opportunity, because how often are you working on a $4 billion project? It's pretty unreal. And so really on the ground crew of launching that to the public, and it'll likely take the next 8 years to build. It's right now it's underway. We're starting with 2 giant parking lots, or parking garages rather. But, part of my role is informing the public on what's to come. And we're really building a kind of downtown Orange County centralized entertainment location around the Honda Center, and then also building up the Honda Center. Our owners just spent, I think it was $2 billion on the Honda Center to revamp a lot of the restaurants and kind of the property itself. And so, I'm at the forefront of driving that content. And it's fun too, because every day is a little different. Sometimes I'm working on Anaheim Ducks content. So, for example, this upcoming week, starting tomorrow, I'm working on the 25-26 Anaheim Ducks season content. So, starting with the schedule release, like what games are we having on what dates? And so building a whole content package around that for social. But then also working with like Vans Skate Company to, do some collab shoes that are like Ducks Vans collab shoes. So we're going out there and capturing skate footage in our new shoes, and just working with all these different brands or venues around town. We shot some content at Chain Reaction this past season.
Wow. So
we had someone like crowd surfing in a Ducks jersey, and the band on stage was wearing our Wild Wing mask that we sell, and just like rocking out in that. And
that's cool.
Just trying to, and honestly, a lot of that I'm helping drive, because, it's a lot of my world's combined. So it's music and it's sports and just like figuring out how to tap into what it truly means to be kind of a, we call it Orange Country, quote unquote. So it's like, a resident of Orange Country, which means like you have diehard Ducks pride and that sort of thing. And so I think that expands into music and entertainment and the rest. So it's a lot of fun.
I will say this: you have to watch a game in person.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I enjoy hockey in person more than on TV. You just hear the action on the ice.
Totally.
You hear the checks. You hear the players talking to each other. And and if you've never been, it does get cold.
Yeah.
Yes, but just the action on the ice, and then I believe where the Ducks play, the capacity is maybe 18 to 20.
You got it, man. Yeah.
So
18.
it's a decent seat wherever you're at. And I've been to a few, but it doesn't. The games, you have to watch them in person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unreal. And I grew up around hockey, being in Minnesota and Toronto, but never really went to a game. And so it's actually funny. I was like I think it was March last year, kind of end of that season. I wasn't an employee yet of OC Sports Entertainment, and didn't really know a ton about live hockey. And so we went to a game on a whim, and it was the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ducks. And I was naturally cheering on Toronto, because
that makes sense.
That's where I grew up.
And look where you work now.
And then a month later, I got a job for the Ducks. And so,
I better change that jersey.
Oh gosh. Yeah, man. I was like, let me get a bunch of Ducks merch. And so, it's been a real treat, just like learning more about the sport. But also the thing I love about hockey is there's not a ton of ego. And so it truly does feel like a team sport. Almost sometimes like a fault where I'm like, I need a little more out of you guys when we're like filming, like please, someone have like, you know, a little bit of
Pizzazz,
ego,
something.
pizzazz,
Yeah.
But they're all just such like humble dudes and really cool to be around. And so it makes work really easy too. And so it's been a blast. I mean, this past season we worked on our season creative our what we call media day.
Okay.
So there's one day, super long day, where we get all our photos, all our videos of like player promos and that sort of thing. And so we had Atiba Jefferson, who's like a famous skateboarder and photographer. He came out, so we got to work with him on our media day. And so it's just been really an exciting kind of organic experience there so far.
You seem so passionate about this position you have, your career. It just, you're so happy about it.
Yeah.
And just the way you're talking, not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But the way you're talking about it. And then, I believe this entire time you're focusing on your education or wrapping up your education.
That's right. Yep. So
Okay.
I think what also kind of led to this position was getting a bachelor's and a master's degree.
Good for you,
So
dude.
kind of to call back my struggles through school, like growing up. I mean, there was just a point where in my mind, I stopped telling myself that I couldn't. You know, I just said, you know what, like if I'm studying things I'm interested in, like I can succeed at this. You know, it was a bit of a shift of confidence in my educational pursuits. And I think it started with going to recording engineering school and realizing that like, oh, I love studying entertainment and, you know, music and movies and all of that. And so if I'm really doubling down on that side of education, like I'll do great.
Right.
So got my bachelor's, which was, I kind of say was kind of for my parents. My dad is, he's retired now, but was in education for 40 years. And so I was like, all right, I got to get through college at least. And so got my bachelor's, and then Disney opened up what they call the Aspire program, where they were covering master's degrees. And I said, well, heck, if it's covered, I might as well do it. So went to DU in Denver online and got my master's in entertainment media and communication management. And so, yeah.
It totally makes sense why you have the position you have. Good for you, dude. I remember I was watching your journey on social media. I was like, good for him, man. I saw when you left Disney, when you got the job, you know, with the Ducks, and then when you finished your degrees, I was like, good for you. I made the mistake. I got into the electrical field.
Yeah.
And I started getting into more on, you know, I'm going to finish up my degree. I'm going to go get back and get my bachelor's. I'm terrible at math. I'm just not wired to do math. And I picked electronic engineering, which has the most math requirement.
Yeah.
So I'm taking these courses at night, and then I'm the only guy in there, like in like boots, like coming off a job site because I'm working in the field, and everyone else, they're normal students. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And I just pulled a professor. So I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really struggling. He's like, could you maybe you get like someone like a tutor? I was like, I am. I'm like, I don't know if I'm meant to do this. He's like, well, what do you do? And I got like drywall dust like on my shoulder, and I'm like, you know, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do this, man. So I unfortunately did not finish college, but you know, I learned a trade. So
yeah, it's not for everyone. I mean, I just knew where I wanted to end up. Like I wanted to end up overseeing teams. I wanted to end up being, you know, at the highest creative point I could be. And so I think getting my education was a piece of that. And two, like a lot of my education and actually my skill set came from like being outside of a classroom on set and what have you.
Right.
But being in school really taught me the discipline to show up every day, show up my best, oversee teams, and really get the most out of the creative, you know, pursuits that we're after. Because I think like otherwise I would have been in the same spot going, I can't do this, I can't do that. And so I think the biggest takeaway was that new mindset that I found through education.
Good for
and
you.
just it gave me a confidence boost for sure.
And remind me of your title again.
Yeah, so my bachelor's is in entertainment media, and then my master's is in communication management and marketing.
And then you're the senior content producer for OCSE.
Yep.
And you're only, how old are you again? If you don't mind me asking.
About to turn 37.
Dude, you're a young man. Just imagine 10 years from now.
Yeah.
20 years from now.
It's nuts, man.
It's nuts. You'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
You have your whole life ahead of you. You're so young, and then you're already educated. You're on the path.
I appreciate that. That's very kind.
I started my third career about your age.
Wow.
And I've been there 10 years now, and I'm set when I'm going to retire. But
that's awesome.
Just seeing how passionate you are, how excited you're talking about this, like you genuinely love what you do.
Yeah.
And I admire the fact that not only a bachelor but a master's, and you're working for a great organization.
Yeah.
You love what you do, and then you're passionate about music, which we're going to talk about next. It's just it's very inspirational, everything you've done, who you are. So
I appreciate that, dude. That means a heck of a lot. And I'll say, like, along the way, there was no clear path. I just kept my head up and kept accumulating the skills that it took to get to this point without even really realizing it. I mean, the funny thing is, like, Disney, I had to, the way I put it, I had to rip off the Band-Aid. I was in a very, very comfortable position, tipping position, but I knew deep inside, like, there was nothing creative about the position I was in there, and I would not be fulfilled if I wasn't working in a creative position full time. And so I just finally went, you know what? I have to quit. I have to get up and just go because I'm not being fulfilled as the creative that I am. And so I didn't have any backup plan when I left. I was working knots, like very part-time still, left my full-time job at Disney and just doubled down on freelancing. And taking random gigs to find that final landing place, or at least this chapter where I am now. But it took like making that leap, and that was I don't suggest it for everyone, but it was terrifying because I'm like I have to like scrounge for gigs now to like keep afloat. But I think that's what really led me to where I am now. And there was a lot of no's along the way too. Like I interviewed with Mr. Beast, I interviewed at Lucasfilm. Interviewed with the game company We're Not Really Strangers, just like all these like pretty cool brands, and then applied for this it's called OC Vibe, which was what was on the job application. I'm like, I don't know what the heck this is, but when I found out they're building the new downtown like entertainment district of Orange County, I was like, I want in. Like I'll double down.
Massive
whatever.
Job site, right off the 57,
yeah, 100 acres. And so
ridiculous
being a part of that. And I think one of my favorite opportunities with this role is like also getting to add into other people's careers. So, I may be young, but I feel like now I'm at the opportunity where I can actually give back and help other people grow as well. So I'm trying my best to find free time to speak at universities. Like I've spoken at Cal State Fullerton and UCI. But also just my immediate team, like, we're growing our head count. And so, I feel fortunate to be able to hopefully give back in that way, as well, and help people grow their careers while they're on my
for
team.
you, man.
So.
Your story is very inspirational. So someone's going to hear this, or someone's going to see your story wherever, and they're going to be like, you know what? And it's going to give them the confidence to do what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good for you, man.
Appreciate it, dude.
What are some of the projects that you could talk about that potentially you're working on?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what's coming up. I mean, really.
I mean, you mentioned some stuff already. So.
Yeah. I think, we have a lot of cool partnerships coming up in the season ahead with the Ducks. So, I can't name too many names.
Well, of course,
but working with some cool merchandise brands on some collab merch and different items in that way. But I think too, the Ducks are in a kind of transitional period. We just got a new coach. We have a lot of new prospects and new players. And so it's an exciting time to be part of the Ducks organization as well. And so that's exciting. I think too, with this new investment in Honda Center, I think that's going to be an exciting ongoing project that we're creating content for. And then OC Vibe is unique because we're starting with these parking garages. And so it's like, how do you hype that, as kind of the first phase of what's to come. And I think that's the fun part about my job is like, it is a creative challenge. It's like, how do we make that cool? And so, I think to come, we're working with some artists that'll be painting in our district and painting these garages and what have you, and just some really cool collaborations. Unfortunately, I can't speak into too much.
Oh yeah,
of
course. And there's NDAs probably completely understandable.
Yes, but that's about as much as I can say at the moment. But I will say too, we did a really cool campaign for Katy Perry.
Nice.
And whether you're a fan or not is a whole different story. But she approached our team for her upcoming tour and said, hey, like, we want content for Honda Center. What do you have? And so I was able to write and direct this whole kind of shtick of one of our ice maintenance crew, quote unquote. Like, he's an actor by day, but he was like working on the ice and then puts on his headset and grabs an ice cream cone out of his cooler and then drops it on the ice, and the ice comes to life, and the venue then turns into like kind of Katy Perry takeover.
Okay.
And so that was super fun because we got to work with the Ducks, but also Honda Center and kind of all of our brands to bring that project to life for Katy Perry, who then reposted it and all of that stuff. So
nice.
It's one of my favorite things is just seeing the content that we create like go on to such a high scale or large scale, on social, whether it's with Vans or Katy Perry or whoever it may be. I think that's really rewarding for me because it's like, oh, I've hit that point in my career. It's not
you see what you've created.
Yeah. It's not necessarily the local coffee shop commercial anymore. It's like we're working with, some big pop stars, and
that's crazy, man.
Such a high level.
Such a humble dude. That's what just blows my mind.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It's, it's been a lot of kind of scrapping by along the way, but like I said, I think now I'm at the level where I can hopefully like turn it back and give back to others as well.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Can we talk about your music career?
Let's do it.
So let's talk about Rebel Revive.
Yeah.
So you categorize it as a one-man band?
Yeah. Rebel Revive. It came off the tail end of me leaving New Year's Day. I was kind of getting exhausted of being on the road and just was facing some kind of challenges of like always uprooting life to go travel, So we had done Vans Warped Tour and some headlining tours and what have you. And I just realized that I wasn't really making music on my own terms. And that was something that was really important to me. And so Rebel Revive became my solo project, essentially, in which I play all the instruments on the record, write it all, sing it all.
Really?
And so it sounds like a full band, as you'd expect, any full band to sound like, but it's me times whatever, 5. And so it's become more so a passion project than kind of a main career focus nowadays. But it's such a rewarding outlet, like artistic outlet. Sometimes it's just getting home and riffing on guitar, and then the next week I have a full song built and I'm showing friends and family. And so, it's been a blast. It's, I think I started Rebel Revive now it's more than 10 years ago now.
Okay.
But was fortunate enough to put out my first record with a producer named Colby Wedgeworth, who I think now has a Grammy and has gone on to some great success. But helped me put out a fantastic first record, and then have, kind of released songs along the way since. But actually over COVID, I wrote 2 records that I still have to put out. And so I think that's the next phase. Nice. I did a acoustic version of my first record and then a brand new set of songs as well. And so, it's been a really fun journey so far. I mean, we, for a while there, were really pounding the pave, playing House of Blues Anaheim and Chain and Glass House, all these, cool local venues.
Right.
Had some songs on K-Rock, which was super fun.
Nice, dude. Local station, right on.
Yep. And then went on, I think it was 2014, and were named one of the top 5 best bands in Orange County, best live bands in Orange County.
Right on.
And so it's been a fun project just to like see from the ground up. It's extremely exhausting doing it all by yourself. But
when do you have the time to do everything?
I get that question a lot. I still sleep quite often too, which is weird. So I'm not exactly sure. I think it's just, when you are doing what you love, it doesn't feel that tiring.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. And I feel, very fortunate to be doing what I love in every aspect of my life. So
you mentioned something earlier, and I forgot to mention the quote. You said, you were taking chances when you're in between phase. And I was going to say, without the risk, there's no reward.
Yes.
Yeah, look where you're at now.
Yeah.
What are some of the bands that you listened to that influenced your music, or you found inspiration from?
Yeah.
Like, what were some of the bands like you could think of off the top of your head? Like you're like, those are my 2 go-to who inspired me to play the drums or to play, my guitar or to do the Rebel Revive? Like, what were some of these bands?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think my first initial inspiration was my dad. It wasn't necessarily an artist, but or like a known band, but my dad was always playing music around the house.
What kind of music was your dad like vibing to?
It was kind of adult contemporary or kind of like rock or alternative, that sort of thing. And so he was playing guitar and singing in bands and what have you. And so like we have photos of me just showing like absolute interest in what he was doing, like crawling over to him as a kid as he's playing guitar. And so he was always around the house. And then he started taking me to shows. So like my very first concert was the Smashing Pumpkins.
Nice.
And still really dig like some of those records. And I saw them, it was an outdoor show in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay.
And there was something like 100,000 people there. It was like a free outdoor show. And I remember sitting on top of like the front of a semi so I could see over all the adults in front of me. And I had to be like, I think I was probably like 9 or something. Jeez. But just seeing this like epic rock band, and that's what really kicked it off too. Like to see the magnitude that like rock and music can like get you to. And so then it became like MXPX, kind of skate punk band.
Okay.
Got really into them. Switchfoot, Thrice. Just
Thrice.
some of that.
Nice.
Dude, I love Thrice. Big Thrice fan. And so I think a lot of those bands inspired me like to write music and really tell a story. Switchfoot and Thrice are both really good at that. I mean, their lyrics and their melody and their instrumentation really make you feel something, but also like inspire. And so that's what I want to do with my music. So that's why I kind of initially launched Rebel Revive, is like, I got stories to tell. And it's really the project of kind of second chances is the way I see it. I was living a lifestyle that I wasn't exactly proud of when I was in New Year's Day. And so, just always out amongst partying. I wasn't really a partier myself, but just always in the mix of that. And
I get it.
And so when I started Rebel Revive, I'm like, this needs to feel different. And this needs to be more for like telling my story, but like for others, to help inspire others to tell their story, pick up an instrument, but also to find their second chance, whatever that means. And so that's kind of the initial concept behind Rebel Revive. And it's in the name too. It's like, kind of rebelling against the norm and like kind of reviving who you really are and being true to yourself. So
I'm about to age myself. So 1994, I'm 18, right out of high school. I go to the Lollapalooza at Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Okay.
On their soccer field. And I saw, it was supposed to be Nirvana.
Yeah.
But we all know what happened to Kurt Cobain. So, Smashing Pumpkins, they stepped in to be the headliners.
Heck yeah, dude.
It was, I'm trying to remember the day. It was Beastie Boys, Nick Cave and the Seed Band, L7, Cypress Hill, George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic.
Okay.
I said the Beastie Boys. Who else? Oh my gosh. Rollins Band, I think, when he first went solo after Black Flag. And then there's so many other bands I'm forgetting. I was 18. It was just like this giant mud bowl, but we saw Smashing Pumpkins, and I was maybe, I don't know, 50 feet from the stage.
Oh man!
And just to see them play, and I was just like, and I had really bad asthma at the time. I had an asthma attack, and I was like, oh no, I want to see them play. And then right after that, we went to the pharmacy. But yeah, I saw Smashing Pumpkins back in 1994.
Oh my goodness!
I mean,
it's like heyday.
It's like, yeah, it's their, what album was that? Oh my gosh, I forget. Anyways, but that was my thing for years. Just shows, like, we just saw, who did I just see recently? I just went to some like Psychobilly show here at the Garden App,
cool.
Garden Grove. It was like, who was it? Oh my gosh, I forget the bands. I'm so bad at my memory, but yeah, dude, music was my thing forever. I saw Face to Face, like Little Hole in the Walls. If anyone knows Face to Face,
heck yeah, dude. I've seen them way back as well. Like they were one of my first concerts as well.
Yeah, I see them play like in Hole in the Walls. I saw Alice in Chains. I saw, who else? Jeez. Best concert I ever went to. I don't even know that. What's the venue that's by Anaheim Stadium?
Is that Chain Reaction?
No, it's right by
the Grove.
the Grove.
Yeah.
It used to be called the Sun Theater years ago. I saw Blue Oyster Cult there.
Oh man.
Blew my mind, dude. They were like, this was 25 years ago, but blew my mind.
That's so cool.
Not a big Muse fan, but like I saw them perform live at a festival. They only did like a 45-minute set, and they blew my mind as well. I was just
They're
like,
great live.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, I heard the stuff on K-Rock. I'm okay, cool, but I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they get a massive sound for being a 3-piece too.
Yeah,
like it's nuts.
Yeah, I was just like, this is the Muse. I was just like, I've seen Tool a handful of times. Who else? Oh gosh, so many bands. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen Creed probably 3 times in the early 2000s.
No shame, man. No shame.
Yeah. That was my thing for a long time. Then I just got older. And I was like, I can't do it. Like now, like I like to pay for the section where it's like VIP sitting, and like, I can wear my Costco Asics, and be comfortable. So
Heck yeah. That's funny.
Alrighty, sir. Well, you're definitely a very interesting man.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
There's something I used to do in old episodes, and I'm bringing it back.
Okay.
And I haven't done it in a while. So what I do is I ask you a fantasy question.
Okay.
And it could be fictional, non-fictional, whatever circumstance it's your fantasy.
Okay.
So a time portal opens here in my condo.
Yeah.
You could go back to any period, fictional or non-fictional.
Yeah.
And work on any project that's either like a film production or like a music video.
Oh man.
What would it be and why? So let's say, I don't know why, but like you go back to the 80s and you work on the film, Duran Duran's like Girls on Film, or you go back to like filming a video for like, I don't know, early Disney or something.
Wow.
What would it be and why?
So my mind first goes to Fellowship of the Rings, Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yeah. I just I don't know, man. Being on that set feels like an adventure just by itself.
Right.
Because, you're out in the elements.
Right.
And just around, I think, a once-in-a-lifetime cast and story. And so I think my mind first goes there. There's just something so special about the way those books were written, and then the adaptation to film was really good. Like
I could watch those all the time.
Yeah. And so there's something truly magical about that set, it seems like, and just that the cast too. It's like if you kind of look at some of the people that were on the cast, they're unlikely suspects in the way that it's like not all of them were huge names, but somehow they got just absolute gold out of those films. And so I think my mind goes there first.
What exactly would you be doing on that set?
Honestly, man, just like being a fly on the wall.
A PA.
Honestly, just being there.
Just the fact you would be there.
Yep, just being there. I think it would be, even like a script supervisor. Just follow along to make sure that like we're kind of following Tolkien's like original vision.
Okay.
I think that would be really interesting. Or honestly, PA, like running coffee.
The fact you're there.
Yeah. I think it's just being there. Because I think already being on site in that, magical setup would be unreal. So I wouldn't even really need a primary role in that. It's just like being there helping. So.
I saw the coolest video. That's funny you brought that up, because I saw this video recently where all the actors, they wrapped up.
Yeah.
All the actors, some were in costume still, some weren't. They were gifted by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
A piece of their lore. Like, oh my God, the actor who played Legolas. Oh my God, Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
He was given his bow.
Yeah.
And then like, Viggo Mortensen was given his long sword, or like,
how cool.
I forget the actor that played, the point I'm trying to make, each actor was given like a piece of their costume or a piece of lore of the character they played, and like someone broke down.
Yeah. Some
were very emotional. Like the castle's there, everyone, the crew, everyone was clapping. I'm like, that is so cool. That is my to-go-to movies when I decorate for Halloween and Christmas. Because
cool.
Well, you can play them in the background.
Yeah.
So when I'm hanging up the Christmas lights here, or like, because we do a lot here, but just the fact that it's in the background, yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, they're great. And like I started reading through. It's funny, I wasn't a reader until about 5 years ago. Once I started like going back to school, and you're really enjoying reading as a hobby. But picked up The Hobbit, and then have recently started in on the Lord of the Rings series. And they're such. I mean, Hobbit's like a relatively easy read, but the Lord of the Rings are like
the 3
dense,
books,
dude.
yeah.
But getting back into those, and then also like rewatching the films. So they brought them to theaters recently as kind of an anniversary, and so. Yeah, rewatching him in theaters on the silver screen was a real treat too. And so I just feel like they're timeless films and storytelling. Yeah, big Lord of the Rings fan.
Myself and a mutual friend of ours, we had a Shakey's Pizza in Lord of the Rings marathon here about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Krista, the girlfriend, she went to work.
Yeah.
And she came back. She said, "You guys are still watching him? We're on the Return of the King. Like that's the last movie."
Yeah.
When we went to pick the third movie, we both agreed not to watch the extended version because the extended version was like 4 hours plus.
Yep.
We literally had Shakey's Pizza for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my!
Like I ordered that much. Like we literally were having chicken mojos. Yeah, it was great. I think we fell asleep for a little bit. We woke up. But we did the marathon here, which was great.
That's sick.
We started at 11 o'clock in the morning. It ended after 9 o'clock. So
dang, and it was the same pizza box from my Carnival days, right?
Yes, and you were here. Your hand came out of it.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes. All righty, sir. Anything you'd like to plug? Where can we find you? Anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah. So definitely check out my work at MatthewLindblad.com. That's just my name spelt out.com. And then you can follow along with all my adventures at Hide Your Milk on Instagram. And funny quick bit about that, I was always drinking all my friends' milk when I'd visit their houses in high school. And so, they'd have a gallon, and I'd finish off the gallon, and their parents would be all ticked off in the morning when they didn't have milk for their cereal before work. And so,
I was going to ask you the story behind the name. I forgot about that.
Yep, there it is in a nutshell. So, I was drinking way too much milk back in the day, but that's why I'm 6'5".
I was about to say that. Yeah, growing boy.
Yep.
Again, like in previous episodes, where they can find you will be in the podcast description, your website, your handles, everything else.
And I'd say, so all of that, and then also on Spotify, if you want to listen to my jams, it's Rebel Revive, just like it sounds. And there's a white lighthouse on the cover if you're looking for the art. So, that's about me.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on. You're an amazing man. Thank you for being a good friend.
I appreciate it. Likewise,
a supporter, an advisor, voice of reason, handsome devil. Am I missing anything?
I cannot confirm or deny any of that. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for being a good dude.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
All right.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
You're listening to the Creepcast.
You've once again barely escaped the clutches of the Creepcast with Rick Creeper. Next time, you may not be so lucky. To find out more about the Creepcast and Rick Creeper, follow Rick on Instagram at RickCreeper11. Until next time, be sure to keep that lantern light burning. You never know what could be lurking out there in the dark.